Hello and welcome back to Tactical Chile Wargaming. My name is Patricio and with me, as always, Charlie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. What an exciting week we've had. Um,
Yes.
we promised that after our event in the past weekend, Great Chilli Cook-off, we would come back and report on how we found Pariah Nexus, some of the armies that we played, and how we found the balanced data slate. Have to say, Pato, it was a bit of a chaotic weekend.
Yes,
Lots
it
of
was.
fun, and seeing some of the armies that people were trying out. It was great fun. How did you find it?
I love it. I actually was really good. First of all, big event for us. First time doing 2 days, and I think was really good. A lot of preparation. I think that was stressful, but the actual Pariah Nexus and the game was really game changing. A lot of things that you have to consider now when you build a list and when you are thinking to bring something for a competitive scene. So that's what we are going to talk today about all those small changes, how that affected in our games, how that is probably going to affect the way that at least we do list. And yeah, how that will influence us on the in the future. I just see that it's going to be exciting. Just I'm really liking is the beginning, but I actually think that the changes are good. Yeah, I think they're good. Um,
Awesome. Well, it was a fun-filled weekend for me. Great to see a really good turnout. Well, we had 23 people on day one, and unfortunately, one of our players got sick, so we ended with 22.
yes,
Um, and yeah, I mean, we managed to crown one undefeated champion, which was really
yes,
cool.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and this being now, like you said, this being our first 2-day event, just learning the preparation. Like your idea with the higher tables, the taller
Oh
tables,
yes,
really saved my back
yes, yeah.
this
I
weekend. It was
really
best idea ever.
I think
Yeah.
that was actually we will talk about that, but that was a big change, and I think we will put it in place for all the events. That is actually a massive change for the back pain and all of that. Especially
Yeah.
we are old,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Exactly. And for our taller players, it's just a lot less stress as well for them bending
100%.
down in some of the lower tables. And yeah, massive shout out to Spellbound for hosting us for 2 days. I believe it's the first or one of the first 2-day
I
events
think,
they
well,
have
Frankie
hosted.
probably that we for everybody that view the last episode, we are bringing back Frankie today. He is waiting in the waiting room at this moment. He may probably know because he has been playing for longer in Spellbound, so he
Yes.
probably will. So, what if we bring?
No, I was just gonna leave him there for like an
Oh,
hour.
we can do that.
No?
It's like he's going to probably enjoy the vaping and is standing in the dark.
He's ordered his McDonald's. It's
Oh,
fine.
here the McDonald's. That's all good, man. I have that for lunch. I still regret, but it's
All
okay.
right. Shall we bring him in then?
Yes, let's bring our good Frankie. Hi, Frankie. How are you?
Welcome back, Frankie.
Nice to be back. You got the part of vaping right. I did not order Macca's because I
Oh,
didn't want to get food halfway through the video, but that will happen later.
yeah, that's good. Well, good thing with Mac is you can always order at any time, so that's fine.
Yeah. So Frankie,
Good.
how did you find the weekend as TO, your first TOing event?
It was great actually. I really enjoyed it. So obviously, as you guys know, the first day we had 23 players. So just to have make sure everyone was having a game, we established a system that me as a TO, I was gonna play the buys, and we established a system that people were gonna score a minimum amount of points, and if they actually managed to score more than the minimum amount, which we decided was fair number was 70 points, they got to keep that score. So I actually got to have some games myself, and it was a bit hectic because obviously I had to kind of interrupt anytime someone needed to ask any questions or clarifications. Whereas in game two, because one of my players dropped because they were not feeling well, we ended up having an even number of players, and therefore everyone got to play someone. And that meant I actually was more capable of floating around, watching people play, I actually had a couple of moments where I actually spotted a couple of things that people need a correction on. And overall, it was just cool. I got to actually interact with all the people, make sure that everyone was having fun. And yeah, there was nothing major going on. So I think it actually went pretty well. Despite all the chaos that we expected to have, and we did have, I think we could have not asked for it to go any better, really.
I think a massive,
That's
yeah, I think
awesome.
a massive a help for this was that people was, of course, because of the excitement and all the leaks and release, they were already very on top of all the missions, rules, and everything. So the people already had the information. I don't think that there probably a couple of players that they were more green on the new stuff, but most of the players probably knew exactly what was going on and what they needed to play, and at least in theory.
And I actually think that's a really cool point because we did have a bit of a range of players from more casual players to more competitive players. But I actually think that the fact that, despite, that some of us researched or kept up with the reveals and the reviews online of the mission pack, I feel like that the fact that we were actually all experiencing for the first time and actually kind of leveled up the playing field. And it wasn't a massive advantage for people who played ad nauseum, the same rules from the Leviathan pack, versus people that maybe don't get to play as often 40k or don't play as competitively. So I actually felt like that it was more even, and everyone had a good chance, to get a crack at the new rules and have some good games. With the
Yeah,
disparity was not that great.
yeah, yeah. I guess, well, Charlie, that's not, it's in BCP, the information. We both play the tournament, trying to test some new list or at least see how the old things were working. You went with you Custodes, Golden Boy, which I think you are enjoying.
I just had to meme a list.
Yes.
I mean, I after ANZTC, I said never again, never Custodes.
Yeah.
But I seem to be addicted now.
A,
I
tr-
seem to be addicted.
a true masochist.
Yes, I
Yes.
tested.
No, I had a
Yeah,
great time.
I think you enjoyed after all. You were, I remember we were that the last day of the submission of the list. You were running around like headless chicken. Do I do this? Do I do it or not? I was like, what I do? Fuck, fuck, fuck. It's like just do it, man. It's like, and you did. You, I see. Looks like you enjoyed a lot.
Well, yeah, I had what 8 different factions that I was trying to pick from. Do I go Tau? Because I was thinking, 27 crisis suits and retaliation is only 1100 points. Maybe I'll go with that.
Oh,
Um, my Canoptic Court list hasn't changed too much. I lose a couple of Arcanthrax
Yeah,
units. Everything else stays the same. I've still got Green Tide. I was actually thinking a boys and knobs based kind of a trading green
green. Yeah,
bully boys list. So move away from the mega knobs, more 30 knobs and trucks plus 3 or 4 units of boys to abuse the double turn of white. Just all of these things going through my head. Okay, how do you score secondaries? And having a look through some of the cards. And in the end, I don't know how I just ended up back at
I
Custodes.
think I have something to say in that, but yeah, I really wanted you to play Custodes because I you have been talking so much about them and how and
Nah,
fake
fake
news.
news.
Yeah, okay. Um,
I just love the moment after submission, like after we finalize submission time.
Oh yes.
I want to change my list. I want to change my list, and the day after, I really, I,
I,
I really wish I submitted a different list, and I'm like, ah, you stuck with it.
that yes, we were setting up.
okay.
So Friday, I remember Friday night we were setting up. Um, and halfway through setting up, I went, crap, it's 8:40 and list submissions
Yes,
at
we
9,
all.
right? Um, I was going, crap, I better submit write a list and submit it. And then at 8:58, I submitted my list. 2 minutes later, I went, Frankie, I need to change my list, and you
Yeah,
said no.
you
Yes,
take the
it
tempo.
was 9:03.
Yeah.
I checked the time, and it was 9:03. I was like, oh crap, it's past 9 o'clock. We have to lock the list, and and Charlie was like, after changing, oh, can I change? I'm like, no,
No, well, you needed to
and then
take a
and
10-point penalty for that.
And what's funny is there was another player who told me that they actually went to change the list last minute, hoping we were not exactly on time. And I think they just tried to submit. I changed the list 1 minute after I locked them in,
Oh,
and I was like,
who was that? Who was
"Yeah,
that?
get
Just tell me,
wrecked."
tell me, tell me.
Name
Um,
and
Name,
shame.
name.
we name and shame.
Yes, one names.
Okay, I think it was Ryan.
I,
He was panicking.
I
He was panicking because both of his factions
bombarded and
Ah,
nerfed.
yes.
got bombarded at the data slate, and he was panicked to play something, so he played. He played a double Lotus Coast list, which he borrowed one of the Lotus Coast from me. He messaged me that night, "Can I borrow? If he could borrow it?" And I'm like, "Oh, what are you cooking?"
Yeah,
And then we let him cook.
that was so good.
That does sound
Yeah,
like
yeah, it
Ryan.
sounds like Ryan. But yes, I run the Space Wolves, the jail. It's not something that is new, but they did get a point increase. What I was expecting not to happen. They got 100-point tax in the main units. That was Wolfins and Thunderwolf. Um, but still, yeah, you still can feel most of the things. You just needed to drop a little bit of your small units, and we will talk about more about that, how that impact on the game. But overall, I think Thunderwolf and the Wolf Jail in general still very much alive. It's not that easy with the new secondaries and actions, but I will say that they are alive. Yeah.
Cool. Pada, do you want to bring up
Oh, yes. Rounds.
our tournament
Yes,
attendees?
we have the placing for the. Oh, sorry,
No, wrong one.
wrong one. Wait a minute,
We'll
second.
quickly go over the
Oh
placings
no,
first.
this is my bad. Sorry, guys. This is my bad. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to. We are live. It's not live, but we are making it looks like it's live. Um,
No edits unless you wanted to end in the
no, no,
bloopers.
that's the placing. Sorry. There is the placing.
Cool.
Oh, thank you to the magic of edition. So what um, we have Tau Empires, um, Necrons, Chaos Knight. We had 3 lists of Chaos Knight.
I believe there were 3 Chaos Knights,
Yes,
yes.
Team
Correct.
Ivan and Hayden. Yes, Hayden. There was Thousand Sons, 2,000 Sons. We have Steel Orcs around there. Um, of course, you with your Adeptus Custodes. Blood Angels, Aldari. We are going to talk about Eldari, what's going on with them. I love that faction, but I think that's very difficult to build lists around that. We
Yep.
have oh, this guy, Ashley, bring Imperium. Imperium.
Would you like to explain what Imperium
Dude,
means?
Imperial. It's like the people at home. What is Imperial? This guy brought agents of Imperium. So what we are talking about, bunch of epic heroes. We are talking about all your assassins, a bunch of inquisitors, henchmen. What's the other one? The oh man, it is just
do you
chaff.
do you have his list? Do you have his
Yes,
list handy?
yes, I have the list. That list is this one.
Segue quickly.
Yes, so it is all the epic hero, the Calidors, the Eversource, all the agents, Cortez, Kira Draxus, that is very handy. Apparently, what I hear from Ashley, that Vindicator kills so much vehicles that is not fun for the opposition.
Oh, yes.
He killed 2 Riptides with that guy.
What he told me was he shot and he rolled the 6s to do 9 damage to the
Yes.
Riptide using the special ammo, the once a game ammo,
Yep.
to bypass saves, right? And then when the Riptide
No,
moved,
it's
he
always bypass.
overwatched.
Always bypass saves.
Was it always
Then
bypass?
you can
Okay.
do is 1 per battle. You give like additional damage or mortal wounds.
Okay.
So yes, he can get up to I think 12 damage or something like that, ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But
He
he
was telling me he did 9 and then another 9 in Overwatch.
yes, he apparently twice that guy. He overwatched in different games, but he overwatched with him because it's like I don't have nothing else to do, so just look at that 6, and he made
That's
it.
right. So, Agents of the Imperium is apparently a detachment you can take, but it has no detachment rule,
No,
except for being
And no
allies, and no
stratagems.
stratagems and no enhancements. So all you have are your core strats.
and yeah,
Um, but they've got, my understanding is they've got weird little modifications to core strats. Like some of
yes,
the units, what's it, the breaches, they get an extra dice when they use grenade strat,
yes,
something like that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they get feel no pains, a lot of involves. They are units that scout or infiltrate, so he can trade at the speed that he wants. He throw you shit that you think that you're going to kill, you don't manage to kill, and they hit you back hard. That is incredible. That is really, really, really incredible. We are going to hats off for Ashley with this one because crazy, but actually worked.
And I think he actually did quite well. He
Yeah,
won a couple of his games, and
if we go
another couple
to
were quite close.
yes, so here is Ashley. He got a 58, 81, 83, 88, and in the last one 18. But this one it is a skew. Yeah, but he you can see he consistently had the points. He lost the one that I think is the 81, the second one. He lost that one, but he scored 81 points. In a WTC, for example, there is very difficult that you can get, you are not conceding too many. So I think it's a really interesting list. Hope Ashley keep playing it so we can get more data of that list.
Yeah.
What else we had?
So
Chaos, World Eaters, Adeptus Mechanicus from Dylan. Adeptus Mechanicus, 2 Grey Knights, and more Necrons and Tau, and 1 Dark Angel. So overall, I will say a good spread on factions. Um,
Hey, there's a hidden faction as well. You could say hidden in the shadow of chaos.
uh,
oh, yes, you.
okay, we're not
Hey, I
going
have
to
them.
talk about the TO's by army.
Yes, come on, man.
Yeah.
Was a good
Hey,
army.
but there's technically another
It is
faction.
coming back. Yes, we know. So yeah, overall, there's a bunch of interesting lists. Of course, Charlie predicted this. Chaos Knight are back in play. They have a lot to give. Um, I actually myself, I think you also faced a Chaos Knight list, Charlie.
I did.
Yes, me
Yes.
too. I play against the Hated Courage. Um, with the jail was interesting game. I think if he, yeah, there was some small things that couldn't have on, small changes or small things that going in the other direction. He probably could have that game. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a really really interesting game to have. Um,
I think it's also really interesting if we look at what people chose to bring. There's definitely some armies that got left at home.
yes,
So literally what 2 or 3 days before our event, I would say we should have at least seen 2 bully boys. Don't
yes,
have a single bully
no,
boys.
no, no,
No Canoptic Court. So both our Necron players were Hypercrypt, I believe.
yes.
Um, and I don't think we had. Do we have a Montcar? Was Kia playing Montcar? Was playing
Kyo
Carrion?
was playing Monka.
Brute?
No, he
Oh no, he was playing Crude.
was playing
He was playing
Crude.
Crude.
Yep.
That's right. Yes. So we had a Crude detachment and a Retaliation cadre.
Oh yes,
No, no Ironstorm, no Black
Yep.
Templar, no Gladius, no Vanguard Marines. So all very traditionally strong singles kind of armies pre Balanced Data Slate, pre
Well,
Pariah Nexus, all missing.
Although I've got to admit, I don't
Sorry,
think in
I'm
our local.
I'm just going to correct you. He actually played Monka. Yeah, Kiev
Oh,
Oh,
he
played
Kia
did.
played
Monka.
Monka.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'm just checking the
okay.
list
Okay.
because I think he tasted the crude, but he couldn't get his head around the way, and then apparently after the change, yeah, that was not that good. Yeah, but yes.
I bet he just didn't finish building all
Oh,
my crude in time because I gave him
oh,
60 crude to build for
I
this.
3D printed for him a bunch. I think 80 crudes and I don't know how many stockers and stuff like that. So I don't think, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Although
Um,
one thing I would like to point out when you were talking about the armies missing, obviously the one I was going to point out was Ironstorm, but like I think this is also kind of reflecting a bit on how our local meta might not exactly mirror what the sort of like the international meta may be or what it might be perceived. Because I don't actually think we have that many Black Templars players in our region in the first place.
yeah,
So correct me if
yeah,
I'm wrong, but
we
I
do. So, Daniel Lister, Black Templars player since 8th edition. I played Black Templars. Ryan played Black
uh,
Templars, Blood
Chris
Angels,
Hamilton in
Ironstorm,
Hamilton
right?
plays Black Templars. The,
Yeah.
okay.
Plenty of Marines and Black Templars
yeah.
players
I
in,
think
in our area.
you also now with the changes, you just can grab your Ultramarines and play it as a Black Templar. Sadly, is the truth. If they,
Shake my
I
head.
know.
Yeah. Now, one big one, which was quite interesting that was missing, is Tyranids, because I thought they actually got a bit of a glow up in the
Yes,
balanced data
yes.
slate.
I think that's one of the big miss here. Um, I guess if we had bigger numbers, we may had that, but I think also it was too soon, and people still
Mm.
because, for example, Fishy could have played the needs with no problem, and I'm pretty sure he's thinking on a couple of lists of Tyrannids now. Um, there is another good player from Tyrannids that was missing for this one. That is from the Roosters. So yeah, Stefan, yeah, yeah,
Stefan.
yeah. So, but yes, I think it's interesting. There was no not pickups on that. Maybe it required a little bit more of thoughts around the faction to get the hits. I don't know. I have played the Tyrannids in 10, but not recently, so I yeah, couldn't bring a list for that, to be honest.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the
Yes.
rounds and just have a chat about what we found, how we found Pariah Nexus, our opponents, um,
Yeah,
what we
so
think?
previously,
So, Pato, who
yeah,
did you
so
play round
um,
one?
round one for me was who was on the round one? Oh, damn it. Sorry, my head around. I don't remember who was my. Sorry, guys.
You played Blood
Oh,
Angels.
I played. Yes, Daniel Lister. Yes, sorry. That's too far away from my memory. Yes, I played Daniel. Blood Angels was an interesting game. Daniel, for my good luck, he's coming back onto the competitive and playing with the Blood Angels. I think I run with luck in there. If Daniel was more sharp, he probably will give me a real headache, and maybe I couldn't even win the game. Um, was interesting the tipping point because was very fast for the Thunderwolf to uh, get it up to where you need with that advance and charge. Um, yeah, I feel the terraform action, I actually managed to do it thanks to my small units that I managed to place around, and the loan up for the Lieutenant Combi Blade. Um, but yeah, Fog of War. Oh man, yeah, no
I we talked about this. We thought it was one of the simpler ones, kind of like
yeah,
Chilling Reign, couple of extra rules. It's giving everyone cover and no core strats battle round one. And then in hindsight, especially yourself on something like Thunderwolf Cavalry, with the reduced CP cost for the auto advance 9 on one of the units
yes,
turn one, it was actually very interesting because now your opponent can't overwatch, they can't interrupt, they can't
no.
heroic. There's a whole bunch of things they can't do if you can actually interact with your opponent turn one, which obviously if you went first would have been in
So
your
yeah,
favor.
I went first, and was really interesting because Daniel was like, "Oh, are you sure that you want to you be so aggressive?" And it's like, because you cannot overwatch. I said, "Mate, I don't have shooting, so doesn't matter. I don't care. The only strategies that I use is that as the advance or to rapid ingress, which I did not use it because you couldn't. But that was interesting because it was like, well, I cannot do much. Um, he was also purely melee. He has some flamer, hand flamer stuff like that that he couldn't, of course, overwatch at the beginning, but there was not the possibility. I think was at the end of the day um, was a little bit of rolls. I managed to tie to hold some of his melee charge and survive where I shouldn't have survived. So the rollings were on my favor, and then that allowed me to fall back and charge on top of him, get my plus one on the damage, and kill those bodies. That's pretty much kill because even with the feel no pain, there's so much attack, so much all the dogs plus the riders plus the characters, a lot of wounds that coming on that, and with the feel no pain, you still die. So yeah, it was a really interesting game. I will say Daniel, if he was a little bit more sharp on that, he probably would, I will say, could potentially have won the game with no problem.
Hmm.
He's a really good player. He gave me a hard time. But yeah, interesting. Terraform, I managed to do my actions, so I'm happy with that at the end of the day.
That is an interesting point because Blood Angels are probably one of the best armies now after the balanced data slate. Just the raw power with the jump pack options and stacking some of the Sons of Sanguinius. Terraform, like we're playing through that first hour, I remember thinking, oh, okay, so I'll terraform the objective, my opponent will terraform the objective, and we'll score passive secondaries. But actually, no, having a board presence army out there early on is such an advantage because
Yes.
if you terraform early on, it doesn't really matter if you can't hold the objective later, right? Because you just keep scoring that primary, they keep coming in, and it works really well into secret missions.
Yes.
Um, so did you take a secret mission round one
No,
or didn't have to?
I did not have to take secret missions the whole tournament except for the fifth round, which I couldn't take it, um, but yes, pretty much. It's interesting because with the Thunderwolf, the pressure, especially with this, some of the deployments, um, I was always, I don't know if my opponents were too cautious and they cornered themselves, but yeah, and it's interesting. I used to play Eldar where I'm mobile, working around the people, and people actually not afraid of you because you are a glass cannon. Yeah,
Mm.
you shoot them, but then they will smash you if you are in the open. With the Thunderwolf, it's like yeah, people was kind of corner themselves to try to block me, of course, screening and a lot of shooting. But yeah, I still managed to take the points on the first turn pretty much in every game. and then I just score primaries like a champ. And while the people was liaising with the Thunderwolf and the Assault Intercessors or the Wolfins, my small units were scoring me secondaries.
Mm.
So was yeah, ah, it's really interesting. What about you? Because you were with the Custodes, so you how did you
Well,
do with that?
I was feeling good. Playing a new mission pack. Haven't played Codex Custodes yet. Last time I played Custodes, it was still Index. Um, and I went up into the Admix Guitari Horde list round one against Dylan.
Oh,
Yes, and Dylan is someone, good friend of ours, plays in the Auckland scene quite a bit. Um, I can't remember if I've ever beaten him in an actual tournament. It's a weird thing. Every single edition, we'll give it a go. And I remember the last time we played was ninth edition, where Elder got was it fake dice or the where you roll and then each dice was an auto six for a different roll.
um,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
he did the whole howling banshees declaring a charge, but not having to actually make the charge to turn off Overwatch on everything within 12 inches. And of course, I was on tower with flamers. Um,
Oh, yes, that was the night edition.
yeah, and yeah, that didn't go so well for me. But it was a really interesting game. My game plan going in was probably wrong because I wanted to try out the beta striking, sort of drop a lot of units in turn two, turn three to try and get positioning, and that just doesn't work. And Dylan played it right. He just ran out with most of his units, screened me out. Um, One of the early tipping points, funny, no pun intended, tipping points was when I brought the Venatari in. He managed to shoot four to death with a single unit of Vanguard.
Oh,
Um, it had rerolls, and he played a couple of strats to beef up the AP and things like that. But one June crawler plus so the transport, one of the June riders, and one unit of 10, cheapest battle line in the game,
yeah.
shouldn't really pick up what 200 and something points of custodians.
Mm.
It
Okay.
hurts, and it completely changed my gameplay. But that was a good game into the new custodies. Um, testing out the maths on crits on fives because I just took crits on fives the entire game, testing out the Alaris, and yeah, basically whatever they made into combat with, they picked up. Even if your squad was size of one or size of two, they were still very very effective in picking up your opponent's units. Um, and yes, I took so unlike you, I'm the opposite. I took secret missions every single game except for one game, and I managed to do all of them.
Oh,
And the ability to just give up primary early and then
recover at the end.
catching up in the last couple of battle rounds is so big for an army that probably doesn't want to expose itself so early. Um, it's no secret, and I think everybody that was there over the weekend that talked to me about it just went, obviously, you just take command insertion and score it with the Alaris, with the upsy downsy. What's anyone going to do about it if you did it in, say, turn four?
Yeah.
Because no one's going to kill seven Alaris Terminators in one or two battle rounds. So that's exactly what I did. I would do a turn two drop off the Alarith, come down, shoot something, try and charge something, maybe kill a unit, and then wander around a bit. Towards turn four, I would pick them up, drop them back down as close to my enemy's
Deployment.
home field objective as possible, and just walk on. And that's worth 20 primary points, which is a bit astounding.
Yeah, and the fact that you can keep scoring primaries
Yes,
a part
that's
of
right.
the secret mission, and it's actually a little bit strong, I will say, because in the past was like, oh yeah, you take the other one, you stop scoring primaries, and you just concentrate on this. What was the name? The gambit. But now it's not. You could be zero primaries and just go for the last two turns and score 40. Just nothing.
Well, that happened to me in round four, I believe. I think I went into my last turn with 2 or 3 points on primary, almost zero, not quite zero, because I hadn't scored anything except for a couple of turns off the actual burden of trust
Yep.
component. And then in that last battle round, I managed to max primary, so I scored 40 on primary. Um, and I scored both my secondaries as well. So it was something like a 47, 48 point turn.
Damn it. And Frankie, did you play the Terraform one with your Chaos demons?
He did. He played
I
T-Suns, right?
I did, and it's actually very interesting because T-Sans is actually not the greatest matchup for demons because with their access to all those mortal wounds that they can do and dev wounds, they can actually pass through a lot of the 4-up and vulnerable saves that demons usually have. Because obviously demons don't really have regular armor saves. Usually they just rely on their 4-up pinballs or 5-up pinballs. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes. So I brought what I thought was a bit of a meme list. I had several lists, and I decided to go for something that would take advantage of the new rules. For those who don't know, effectively, now every greater demon has sort of Shadow of Chaos aura, and they can have demons of the same god with the same god keyword Deep Strike within 6 inches of them, wholly within six, and within outside of 6 inches of your opponent's deployment zone. So what you can do if you are like playing a mono god build, you can have a sort of like Russian doll thing where you advance something like a Bloodthirster, and pop comes out another Bloodthirster beside him, and then after that, from that Bloodthirster, you can have like Scarbrand. Then you can have, theoretically, it depends on terrain layouts. You could have several greater demons all um, have say 6-inch charges, and this can even happen turn one. Mostly turn two though. So I kind of took advantage of this, but the main part of my list was that I was bringing two Soul Grinders, which for anyone who's never seen that model, they are they can be quite unwieldy. They don't move that well, but they really, really benefit from this new role because effectively you don't really need to worry about moving them around. You just need to have them 6 inches away from your opponent. So I had two Soul Grinders with the Mark of Cinch, which meant that they could come from Deep Strike within 6 inches of my Lord of Change, and at a Scarbrand they could come within 6 inches of my Bloodthirster. So what I did in the T-Suns game against Ronan, I advance my Bloodthirster, who can now always advance in charge for 1 CP, because he's always in Shadow Chaos. And then I had Scarbrand come beside him, both 6-inch charges into a Rhino in the middle. And then I had behind that two Soul Grinders and a Lotto Change. While the good old Grunkle was just off to an objective hidden, just chilling and doing the thing which it does, which is no damage, but just like sits on objective, it says mine. And yeah, so that's how on turn two, like my opponent was facing with, two greater demons and two soul grinders right off his front. And admittedly, T-Suns are capable of dealing with that kind of stat check. Although there was like like my Bloodthirster just died to Magnus because one of his sorcerers did like 6 dev wounds to me in melee. If it wasn't for that lucky roll, Magnus would have taken a lot of damage. I ended up winning that game actually. It was not even a small amount of points. I think it was about like 20 points. And that's where I went, huh, this we cooking here. We got something going on.
That's awesome.
And
Soul Grinders will
and
save
I
the planet, Frankie.
well, yeah, I wish. I actually, if it wasn't just for how god awful they can be to move around, I think those things are really efficient for the points. I like to look at them, especially Michael Cinch. They have that sort of like super last cannon. It's variable number of shots, so that you can't give them any buffs to make them better to hit. Although you can make them strength 13, so they can actually wound like monoliths on fours or any T12 vehicles on threes, which is cute. Um, but I like the strategy of like, oh, UK, I've got a lot of change here on its own. It's not very scary in melee. Oh, you're coming close to me. How about here's two soul grinders are just gonna hammer and handle the crap out of you. I think it's fun. They're like mini. I look at them as mini bloodthirsters because they actually quite hit hard. They used to be also our only way of demons to actually get access to tank shock. They still are, but they're not as good at tank shock now because T11 versus strength 16 plus 2 dice. It was 18 dice versus 11. Not as good, but I mean for me it's just like a fun thing to play. And I only played 3 games day one because there was no need for me to play the bias day game 1 and 2. But they were all relatively high scoring games. I was like always like I wasn't particularly careful about scoring my points because it didn't matter for me; it mattered for my opponent if they could score more than 70 points. But even my last game, I was playing a bit loose just because I wanted to have some fun, and I only ended up losing by like 1 or 2 points, and I still scored a 76. And the one thing I've noticed was, despite the fact that demons are one of those armies, like for example Grey Knights or any armies that have access to uppy downy, those armies are perfect for scoring secret missions if you're behind in primaries. I ended up not taking them once because I was always ahead on primaries in the first 3 turns of the game,
Missing
and I
out.
was about
You
that.
got to
Oh,
engineer the situation.
well, here's the thing. I could have played for it. I just wanted to just have a play go with the flow. But I even had the perfect thing. I made my warlord the great unclean one because I thought I can just uppy downy him and 3 inch deep strike into the backfield to steal their home. And what are you gonna do? Kill my great unclean one? Have a go at it, buddy. I want to see you do it.
I'll
He
do
only
it.
died once in 3 games, and it took several rounds of shooting from 3-5 prisms, shooting from, and then he only got taken down by the shooting of the Avatar of Cain plus him charging and milling me. And that is after I rolled like a bit subpar in my saves. But that's what it took to kill the great big
Hey,
Chungus. I'm not.
5 games. Alaris captain didn't die once. Just saying. Just saying. The stats are there.
The stats idea, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Round two. Round two is interesting, isn't it? Because this is the new server skulls.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and for the record, it still sucks to play.
Yes.
Not not as much, but this is probably across the board the lowest scoring game that we had across the event on
I
average,
don't know.
unless you're Thunderwolves and you just really mess with your opponent.
I
Um,
scored 98 points,
Well,
mate.
yeah.
And it's fun because I got Aldari against me in this one, and my opponent scored 5 primary in the whole game. Well, actually 5 points. I don't think. No, he did not score a single primary. Sorry. He scored 5 points on secondaries. So I won this one
Oh,
98,
it's rough.
15. I think it's first time in my life that I smashed somebody like this. Um, uh,
Oh, it's as soon as you left Eldar, you just decided to go all in.
Holding, dude, it's yes, it is interesting because one of the things that for unexploded ordnance, the only problem with Thunderwolf, your wolfens cannot do actions, so they are there for, and then you need to use your or your scouts if they are still there, if you didn't use it as a screening, or your assault jump pack intercessors. But that means that those guys are not helping you on the killing because you don't want your Thunderwolf cavalry doing the action. Um, but they can pretty much they are on top of the objectives while they are fighting. So OC2 each one of them, you pretty much on those points OC 16 basically because you have 8 of them. Yeah, it is wrong in so many levels. Um,
Mm.
Also, I did not take any battle lines. You remember we were discussing, you, me, and Ryan,
Yes, that's
about
right.
taking because I was very keen to take a couple of intercessor squads to do stickies and then do objectives secondaries. I test the list, was working fine, but and last minute I changed for the this version. That was because of the points, so I needed to drop stuff, and that's what I dropped. I dropped the intercessors. Um,
Mm.
kind of yeah, there was Miss Action Monkeys, but I was not so much. Hammer and Anvil, this is an old one, so was not a big difference. 24 inches in the middle. Still my Thunderbolt Cavalry, one of them out to advance 19. And there we go. I'm just charging you in turn one, which happened. He
Yeah.
screened well. He used the bikes. He has a couple of um, short runners to screen. But at the end of the game, I talked to him and I said, "You have two units of the Sky Weavers, Sky Runners. Now, what's the name of the
The Harlequin bike,
yeah,
Skyweavers.
Sky Weavers? Two units of Sky Weavers. And against my army, they do nothing because they had um, the mortal wounds on vehicles cannon.
Haywire
Haywire
guns.
cannon,
Yep.
yeah. So I said to him, "Why you did not throw that into me for screening and position your spiders in a way that you could overwatch me? Um, I cannot do anything against that, you know. So, but he played too conservative again. That's what I was mentioned before. Most of my opponents were like taking step forward. Um, I pretty much he has the avatar, um, which yeah I throw grenades, do mortal wounds on charge, and then Thunderwolf on top. That was it. That was the oh man, and I had this is one of the things with the Thunderwolf, and you need to be careful. He has a unit of fire dragons. He dropped them from the Falcon, put them 6 inches on front of me, and I said to him, "You just remember, I have this reactive move when you shoot me, so I move up to the 6 inches." And it's like that. That's so good. It's a D6. What's the odds are on my favor? I said, I don't think that you need to look for that +1 on the wounding. He shoot me with the Falcon so he can get the rerolls wound with the guys,
And you blood surged into the
and
fire
I roll a
dragons.
6 on the blood surge, tie the fire dragons, so the avatar couldn't shoot, the spiders couldn't shoot, the fire dragons couldn't shoot, and that was game, set, and match basically.
Wow.
That was crazy, man. I rolled that 6, tied everything, killed them. He charged with the avatar, but at that point it didn't matter because the avatar,
Yeah.
um, I had too many Thunderwolf. He did not kill.
On average, kills what, two,
Yes,
maybe three?
yeah,
Yeah.
2, 3, because he needs to. It still rolls d6 +2. So if he rolls a 1,
Yeah.
you did not kill 1. So,
Yes.
dude, was so bad. Logan came on the deep strike. That's the wag. Charge on the backfield because Logan was on foot. He makes the charge at 9 inches charge and tag another unit on the back that was shooting. Tag the bikes. That was game, set, and match, mate. That was, I think, the two. He did not. He only had like 2 units left or something like that. It was pretty much stable.
Mm.
So, yeah, nah, not good. For me, was good, but for my Eldari friend, not so much. Not so much. What was your game on the
True.
second round, Charlie?
So I came up against Tate on Thousand Suns, and we all know Tate.
Ooh,
He's probably one of the better Thousand Suns players in the area.
yes.
The only Thousand Suns player in the area. Um, so on this one, because of the double move, and we were, both working through some of the Thousand Suns changes as well, and he was reminding me more around things he can't do,
Yes.
rather than things he can do, which was quite interesting. And this was a real test round for Custodian's durability. Having lost army wide for Fiona Payne against Steve Wounds and Mortals, but having the 1 CP on tap to, you know, the unit that he chooses to injure it, you pop the 4 up. Um, it was quite interesting because I found that I could tank a lot of the shooting, and with the Venatari, in the list, I was able to actually stage a lot of the units out of line of sight, even with his double move in shooting phase, and just make sure that the Venatari are safe on the go turn. And of course, terrain dependent. There's ways to get around some of the Overwatch. But what I found was, 2-man Guardian squads, excuse me, or 3-man Venatari. They go in and they literally just pick up a unit of rubrics plus the attached sorcerer every single time. He had the advantage in terms of the board control and cooking the objective. So what happened was we kind of switched into more of a because Hammer and Anvil, I kind of played it into a sweeping engagement. So Magnus, Ariman, and this one cultist that I just couldn't kill. Every time he passed battle shot, he just kicked the objective down, and he scored massive points for him. So we kind of switched areas, and I hit the right-hand flank that had the rubric unit with a sorcerer on foot, a rubric unit with an Infernal Master, a couple of units of the Zangor, picked up the screening cultist very early. And then what had happened is I didn't have anywhere to put my Alaris brick because I had to drop them way back to stop him kicking the objective down. And what I did was I actually picked them up and then I dropped them in my turn in the middle of the table with Magnus 9 inches away on their left, a Inferno Master with a rubric unit in front, and the sorcerer unit just behind. The sorcerer unit was lone op 18, but thankfully, the distance I could actually shoot the back unit. So I went, okay, cool. I'm going to do some testing. I shot everything into the sorcerer unit, popping the sustained on shooting strap, which was massive when you have 7d6 grenade shots. And then I crushed the 9-inch charge into the other rubric unit in front of me. So that Alaris unit picked up 2 units and 2 characters in one turn, with the 6-man Venatari picking up another couple of units and the 3-man picking up units. So Tate, I think, lost 3 or 4 rubric units, Zangors, cultists, everything in a single turn. And going into his turn, he had 1 Infernal Master with rubrics left, a single Ariman, 1 cultist, the Demon Prince, which is now stuck on the bottom left of the table, and Magnus sort of hanging around the middle. So Magnus came out, Infernal Master came out, both shot the Alaris. By that point, I had taken the secret mission, and the Alaris was, I don't know, like 7 inches away from his home objective. He went, I guess what's the secret mission is. And Dylan on the other table going, he took this last game. This is exactly what it is. And so Magnus shot, Infernal Master shot, I think they killed maybe 1.5 or maybe 2 Alaris with popping the 4-up Fiona Pain against mortals, of course. And then Magnus came in for the charge, killed 2 more guys. So I had the Alaris captain and 2 Alaris Terminators alive in the unit in Tate's turn. And I swung back in combat and I did 12 damage to Magnus through his -1 damage.
Oh, that is massive, man.
And then at that point, I kind of went, cool. So my 6-man Venatari on the other side of this wall now have a target for next turn. And of course, in Shield Host, there is a 1 CP strat to fall back, shoot, and charge. So I fell the Alaris back. I can't believe if I auto passed Battle Shock or if I rolled that Battle Shock. I paid the CP to fall back and shoot and charge, and they actually went for the last rubric unit and picked that up with a 7-inch charge. And the 6-man Venatari picked up Magnus. And I think that was turn 4.
Oh, shit. And how did you were managing to kick the objectives? What was, did you manage to move it around back or?
No, I actually didn't. So there was one I managed to kick over for a 5-point, and that was the highest I had scored. I think I had maybe 1 2-point or a couple of 2-points. So I did score over 10 for primaries on the normal primary. But I picked up the secret mission, and secondaries were okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, it is.
I did also get slightly lucky on the final charge from the alliance because Tech came out and move blocked me off his home objective with the last unit's angles, and I did roll just enough on the charge to charge around, pick up the unit, and then consolidate onto the objective.
Oh man. Okay.
So that was a bit of luck on my side.
That was a good charge, lucky shot, but you managed to do it. You scored 68-58 on that one.
Yes, that's right. It was a very low scoring game.
Yeah, no, interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking for the scoring here. Yeah, most of the people scoring. The winners 88, 80. Josh, Josh scored 100 here. Uh, overdoing this.
That's on Votan.
Yes, he scored the 100 and I scored 98. I think our scores were the biggest point difference in the whole round. So everybody was very tight, no more than 20 points. What about you, Frankie? Because you of course your score is not here, and you play Phil Porter with the the um, Dark Angels.
Dark Angels? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in that game, here I've never played demons before, so I warned them, what I can do. I pretty much was on the line with my Bloodthirster and some hounds, so I could just get on one of the objectives early. But then I kind of, Corn got the best of me, and instead of trying to pushing objectives, which would be the smart play, I just went, Corn demands his blood, Corn demands his skull. So I went for the charges, killed some infiltrators. But unfortunately, like in return, he dropped from the repulsor his hell blasters and got some shots into my bloodthirster, and that was the end of the bloodthirster relatively quickly. But I had the Great Unclean one on the other side, on the other table edge, and that was just my objective for the entire game. So I started kicking it because he just didn't have enough. And in the middle, what I did was he infiltrated a unit of 6 Blade Guard veterans. So I just moved up one of my Seeker Chariots to kind of block him. And then I just put some shots into them. I ended up killing most of the squad with the chicken shooting. I think he only had maybe one Blade Guard left, and the character, and which I think was what's the one that fights first?
Judicia?
In a Judicia, and I think he only had those 2 left in the unit. So I was like, oh, that was good shooting. But yeah, at the end of the day, I was just like pushing in the middle. He just did not have quite enough to actually kill my stuff. And then Skybrand joined the chat, and he just couldn't deal with that. He did kill one of my soul grinders and the bloodthirst, as I said, but I think everything else was still on the board. I actually upped down in my plague bearers because they already stick in my home and I didn't need them there. And I wanted to take his eradicators because I respect eradicators. They can be very, very scary if they get lucky with their rerolls. And I actually got I got a 9-inch charge from Deep Strike with my plague bearers to take his eradicators, and they were essentially not able to shoot me for like 2 rounds. He did not score up to 70, so he got the 70. But I did not actually keep track of how much I was in that game, but I think I was in the high 80s or even more. So yeah, and again, another game where I did not even need to look at taking secret missions because, despite the fact that I didn't kick any objectives in turn 1, which in theory should be the play, I started doing that later on, and I don't think there was anything he could have done about it. We actually had to call it because of the time. But yeah. So I did not quite get to experience the new silver skulls as much. But yeah, it was a pretty fun game. I
Yeah.
got to smash some. I got to smash some Marines. That's fun. What more can you ask?
Interesting, eh?
Now, did either of you actually find swift action useful as a mission rule in this one?
Sorry, come
Swift
again?
action.
Swift action, the doing actions after advancing or falling back with battle line.
I did not.
I only have one battle line
Yeah,
unit, so it doesn't apply for me
I
pretty
did not
much.
Yeah,
have.
all of my battle line died turn 2. So
Yeah, I did not have battle lines, man.
But
Don't have zero.
but I feel like so in that thing, this is one of the scenarios that I think we talked like we're talking last week, where like for example, some armies like Elder don't necessarily need to rely on battle line because they have such mobile units that are somewhat cheap, depending on what we're talking about, that can just do those things, and then you don't didn't require the battle line bonuses. I think that at least my list was kind of the same because what I have in my list, I have 2 units of dogs that move 12 inches. The beast so they can go through walls, so they're pretty mobile. They are okay against damage against one wound models, against space marines or anything tougher. They obviously struggle, but they have that utility. And I also have the Seeker Chariots, which I think in all of my lists since I started playing them, they are maybe secret MVPs or close to it because sure they're like mounted so they can't go through terrain, but they have 14 inch of movement, and for 65 points you get a T6 4 up and bull 7 wound model that is actually it's deceptively hard to kill, and because of their mobility they can easily go from like midfield to an edge of a table, or from like one half of the table to the other half of the table, and help me score in almost any secondary. And they help me out a lot. Like they don't actually make me feel like I need more battle line because they just do all the things. Also, I have what's it called? The blue scribes that I usually now keep on reserves and come down because they have a small footprint to kind of maybe do behind enemy lines, or maybe the new deploy homers and stuff like that. And I can put them in a way that my opponent can't deal with them.
No.
So yeah, I didn't know. Unfortunately, I didn't also get play game two day two. So I think there was another one to get about battle line. So for me, that I didn't actually get to play the full spectrum of what the new rules were between the secret missions and the battle lines medic um, stuff. But I think demons is just one of those armies that if you build it correctly, you are not really dependent on it either, because you just have that repositioning and, mobility that not every army has.
That that's interesting.
cool. Probably need to speed it up a bit. It is getting a bit late. Round 3. So I'll kick this one off. Round 3, I went into Thousand Suns again. This time,
Lucky bastard.
Ronan, who poor Ronan. I've been playing Warhammer with him since he was a teenager, and he, I think he's suffers PTSD every time he has to play me. Just um, so this was really interesting because prepare positions and the ritual, which means as a custodians player, I didn't really have to go out to hold
Oh
primaries. I just
yes.
stepped back, and I kind of tempted him to come out to fight me. Um, and prepare positions, I believe, is the free heroic on battle line.
Yes. Free heroic.
So you can heroic once for free. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Which actually came in really handy. Um, Couple of fun interactions. Um, Ronan Ronan picked up a early on. I think his turn 1, or potentially quite early on in the game. He came out spotted with the Exalted Sorcerer. Picked up because I had Valerian in the army. Not sure why in hindsight, but I had Valerian in the army. Picked up all of the Custodian Guard in that unit, and then he put Valerian on 3 wounds. So he charged with the Rhino, tank shocked, did 3 mortal wounds, and I went, okay, cool. I'm going to play this 1 CP strat to get a 4 up Fiona Pain again, which I just used in shooting phase. And he went, uh-oh. And Valerian survives. But now the Rhino was in heroic range. So I heroicked for free with a Guardian squad behind Valerian. And long story short, a couple of rerolls involved. I pick up the Rhino, and the guard managed to uh, bounce onto the middle table objective, so the center objective, and basically situate themselves up on the other side of the wall. Now with a 6-inch charge and full line of sight to his entire army.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so that was critical because I had the Venatari sitting just behind that in a couple of three-mans on the other side of his army. So going into my turn, I believe that was turn 3, um, I picked up again 4 units of rubrics with all the characters, and I think going into his turn 3, he had Magnus and 1 unit of rubric, and that was it.
Damn it. Yeah, that.
So this was very difficult for him to screen because he didn't have the cultist units, like Tate
Yes.
previous round, so he couldn't get away for a turn, and the only things he could use to screen were rubrics. The Alaris came down, shot the crystal, the redeploy unit to death, um, and then basically walked onto the back. But I didn't have to secret mission this one because I was scoring
Yeah,
max primary anyway.
scoring high. So
Yeah.
this is the only one that you did not use the secret mission.
Yes, that's right.
Oh my god.
What I found interesting was just a lot of the secondaries, because I drew a few more this time, things like sabotage or recover assets, where the action lasts until your end of your opponent's turn.
Yes.
So very, very squishy things like Calidus assassins or prosecutors doing actions sometimes is not the best choice.
No, they are not. Uh,
Um,
but yeah,
yeah,
but if you have the board presence under pressure, yes, they are safe. Otherwise, they will kill them. Um,
yes. Oh, this time, just
yeah.
before I hand over to you, uh, so in my game, Tate always took the -1 damage on Magnus because he knew as soon as he dropped it, I slam into him with
Yeah.
something and just pick up Magnus. Ronan, when Ronan only had Magnus left, he took secret missions actually, and he was trying to double move onto my backfield objective. So I upside down the Alaris and stood in front of him, and he had to charge it, and he didn't have an option. But of course, in his turn, he couldn't change what ability he took on Magnus, so
Yes.
he didn't have the -1, and Magnus took something like 29 wounds and died.
Holy crap. Okay, so you
It was
traumatized
very
again the
unfortunate.
kid.
Again,
Okay.
yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Ronan.
you're abusing it.
Next time.
So for me was this particular the ritual plus search and destroy is not the best or it's not one of the best ones for jail because since the opponent can create objectives, they can keep getting out of the jail and still scoring. But I went against Josh, our good friend from Holy Cow, that is one of our sponsors at the tournament. And he was playing the Votans. I scored 93 points against 25 for Josh. Um, well,
So you punished him for scoring 100 last
yes,
round,
pretty
basically.
much. I was like, oh, yep, you score higher, you need to suffer. But I don't know. We talk about this at the end of the game. He put his 2 brick of Terminators on the deep strike, and since I started by the end of turn 1, uh, or the end of my turn 2, actually, when before he goes second, I had screened the whole table pretty much, except
Yes.
for one corner on his deployment zone, and that's it. That's the only thing. And I pick up in 2 turns the Lamb Fortress, Berserkers, the bikes. Dude, I was yeah. Um,
Of course, you had the 2 units of infiltrators as well, so your backfield and mid table
yes,
would be fully screened out just by 10 models.
pretty much. I screened the whole, and I had the loan up the lieutenant, so that is 10 that range. So one of my side is fully covered there, and in the other side I had a unit of scouts. No, sorry, look, I use a unit of wolfins to screen mate.
Oh,
I hold back a wolfen unit
ooh,
in the middle of the board. I park them there to hold and keep that bubble. One scout, he couldn't manage to, he couldn't kill the whole squad of scout, so one was alive. That scout did upside down since the turn before, drop it in the corner, and block the rest of the table. So I was like, yep, cool. And Logan again, coming from deep strike, extending that bubble. Yeah, was massive. Um, I think yeah, if Josh had the new units, the one that can infiltrate, he could, of course, have done more. Overall, yeah, the pressure of um, the jail, the wolf jails was too much. It is really absurd the amount of damage and how you can oppress your opponent. All the objectives, I create objectives freely, and yeah, uh, pretty much hold my own objectives with no problem.
sounds rough. What about you, Frankie? What did you get up to in round three?
Sorry, I was just busy stuffing my face with McDonald's.
Yeah,
That's why I
I
was
can see
quiet.
you. Yes.
Okay, so game three, I played against Elder, and it was a triple five prism list. And here's the thing: I was not playing Battle Horror, and usually I can go, okay, I don't need to be scared of those because obviously you can't shoot me. But in this game, I had to play very cagey. Um, so what I did was I started everything big that it wasn't my Bloodthirster and Lord of Change. So that was Carbon into two Grandness outside of the field. Because what I was going to do, I was going to uppy downing them later or rapiding blast the Bloodthirster and then move them up and then have the Scarbron come in and do the same. Well, the bird doesn't need to do the rapid ingress, just uppy downy, and then the Sogranders come down and start applying the pressure to the backfield. Unfortunately, I never really got too far because I couldn't really get to where the Fire Prism were because those were like the most threatening things except for apart from the Avatar. My opponent was playing very cagey as well because they were not, they were afraid of all my uppy downy shenanigans and deep strike shenanigans. I warned them that I could, being able to use a strat to come within 3 inches. There's only so much they can do. So I've managed to play well. I was winning on primaries. I had safe objectives that they couldn't really get to, and one of them was actually being babysat by a Sogrammer that I never managed to kill. They were really frustrated about it because I managed to survive a couple of fire prisms shooting at me. I think he shot almost all two, if not all three, of the fire prism into one song grinder, and I managed to tank it. And I was like, cool, this guy has stolen more than half of his wounds. He's now never going to be exposed again and hold this objective for the rest of the game for me. Um, the Plague Bearers, I had them on my home objective, uppy downing them, and then created an objective with the Grim and Clean one that moved upwards. And they came down and took that objective for me, and they just kept it for quite some time. The Elder is Elder, still has a lot of tricks. Still hate the five prisms in a way because they can be very uninteractive unless you also have, well, actually, even if you have good shooting, it can be very uninteractive. And the highlight of the game, I guess, was that I was just finishing moving my Scarbrand in order to get a charge into Fugan and Avatar of Cain, and classic Elder shenanigans. Use an auto 6 to Overwatch, gets 3 shots, wins me all the time, wins me all the times, failed every single one of my saves. Scarbrand gets 1 shot on my own movement base, and I'm like, I hate this elf.
Yeah, that's
I'm just waiting. I'm just
yeah,
waiting.
that's the one trick that
Mhm.
Eldari has not lost, and I think that's one of the miniatures. The Avatar still has a lot of play, just because it's tanky, and just because can do that kind of shenanigans.
All I can say about it is I'm just waiting for Slaanesh to do its thing and getting rid of Eldar forever in the lore. That's all I have to say about that. No, but actually, I ended up losing that game by like 1 point. I think the score was 77 to 76. But actually, what was interesting is I was in my last battle, in the last turn for me, I had the Great and Clean one on top of the middle objective, and I had the new area, not the new area now, the new deploy homers. Um, what's it called again? Something focus.
Established locus.
Established locus.
Yeah, I had established
Oh,
locus.
yes.
And in front of me, I had is it the Phoenix Lord or the Lord that usually you give the reanimating gem? And I had that in front of me, and I was about to do the action just to score as many points, and then I thought, you know what? Let's play for fun. So I just charged the thing, killed it, came back, and I was like, I got to kill it at least. And if I actually did the established locus, I would have won by 1 point. But it was fine. I was just trying to have a good time, and despite the fact that I will still have to deal with elder shenanigans, it's good times we had. So yeah, if I had done that thing though, technically speaking, I would have won all my games.
Oh my gosh. That,
So I definitely really enjoyed playing the list, especially because I didn't think it was actually going to be able to play as well as it did.
Oh, sounds like Demon's a bit of new life as well with the new rules.
I definitely think so, and I definitely think that now we don't have to rely on Be'lakor. So
Yes.
I've gone over several times why I really like Shalaxi, and I wish I could play Shalaxi and I didn't need to play Be'lakor. Now that Be'lakor went to his original points from the beginning of the edition, he's definitely more palatable, but also by contrast, the fact that now we don't need to rely on him for all those shenanigans does mean that we can actually forego taking him for taking something more interesting. And also, the Bloodthirster went down to his original points. And I actually had success with playing a list that had a Bloodthirster at the beginning of 10th edition, and I had to drop him just because after getting the upgrade, 340 points were just asking quite a lot. When for 110 more points, which is still a lot, but to get Shalaxi, which just was more durable and was just effectively one of the most efficient killers in the entire game. Um, Now I actually ended up not playing her either, and while sometimes I wish that reliability was still there, I also kind of don't mind it because it means I have more points to play other stuff. And I definitely think that the new rules are going to allow for mono gold builds to actually shine. Because apart from the monocorn list that was having some success with like double Rendmaster and whatnot and Blood Crushers. Now the other armies are actually the other monogod factions actually have probably their chance.
So,
I think actually, sorry.
I was going to say, sounds like we might need a deep dive into demons to discuss potential builds because that is one army I don't have a lot of experience with, and it'll be really good to see if there's a viable teams list that can come out of it.
detail that.
I definitely think there is because I actually found it to be instead of being just your regular monster mash, it was actually monster rush. Obviously, it's not a kind of like pressure list or just jail list, but having like stuffing your opponent's face with like three big things, depending how much amount of anti-tank they have with them, they might actually struggle to deal with them. And if they kill one or two, they still have a third one that is still in front of them, and plus whatever you have in your backlines. So you can't afford to have too many big things. My list had effectively 6 big things because the Soul Grinders are pretty cost efficient at 180 points. But otherwise, if you want to go, monster match, you can take 45 Dreaded Demons, and that costs you over 1,000 points. So you kind of have to start like being a bit cheap when it comes down to your, action monkeys and objective holders. Which Plague Bearers are great for because Plague Bearers are actually durable, especially if they can get the Finopin from the Grand and Clean one, and they stick in objectives, so you can stick your home if if it matters for that mission. Up downing them, 3-inch them deep strike on another objective to steal the objective from them, ideally close to the ground clean one, or just get them 6-inch deep strike, or 6-inch deep strike, and then they get +1 to charge. So charge something that can kill them, bog an objective. If they can't fall back, um, you just stay on that objective and pipe up if they were tagged with, and then move somewhere else. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but there's a lot of tricks. And the thing with demons, it's one of those armies that people are not used to playing. So many times I have to explain the rules to people because they haven't played them since like 9th edition, or some people since like 4th, 5th edition. So it's one of those armies that kinda, unfortunately, and the results showed it. They don't do well at top tables, but they do well overall. That's because people are not used to play them. They're not used to their tricks. So you kind of prey on unexperienced players, and that was one of the things I kind of didn't like, because it felt like that you fought against the players who know how to play against you, but you kind of prey on everyone else that doesn't know how to play you because you're an uncommon, relatively uncommon army. And I'm kind of hoping that with the new points, not so much new points, but the changes from the data's late, demons are actually going to be able to, punch up and actually be able to compete at top tables. And as you said, Charlie, maybe even make their ways in teams list as a solid option. I'm trying to do that. I always do that.
Well, looking forward to see what you bring at NZTC. Moving on to round 4.
Round four.
Patricio,
Burden of Trust. Uh,
going into your semi-finals.
yes, this one was I got a game against Hayden Courage and the Chaos Knight. We were at that stage the two highest score players, and was my
Hayden Courage, Team New
Team New
Zealand,
Zealand.
superb player.
Yes,
Thank you for coming down from the far
for
north.
the front.
If he's listening,
Yes,
one of the best Eldar players that we have in little old New Zealand.
correct.
Um, so you're both Eldar players,
Yes, we are.
and you're both not playing Eldar. You're both playing durability pressure armies. Cool.
Pretty
I see
much.
how this is going.
Yes. So,
Um, how did this one go?
was interesting because well, we got the new sweeping and engagement, which Hayden used it to castle all the wardrocks on that side, the big side of the board, hoping that the distance for the charge were bigger. And he put a single war dog in the other corner to try to annoy me, shoot me, or try to, if I ignore him, charge me and come from the back. Um,
Question:
yes,
did he put anything in reserve?
no.
Because rapid escalation, this is the map where battle line can come in from reserves turn
Yes,
1.
he did not put anything on reserve, and I think was a smart decision. I went
Okay.
first, so he used the Nurglings to screen me, but of course he couldn't screen the whole thing. Um, and I managed to get around with my 19 advance from one of the sides. So I charged turn one, a bunch of I charged a carnivore and brigand, um, and I used my jump pad assault intercessors to block move him. That was my hope, to be honest. Was like, okay, I charge here, I throw grenades, I charge, do a couple of dev wounds on his warlord, and trying to um, get their hallelujah. Did not happen, but charge him. And I was like, well, this, if I'm lucky, I'm going to survive at least one of my lads, so I can hold the, you know all this blob that he has, because he was relying on moving through walls to come out. But if you are locked in combat, well, that's more complex. Um, and worked. I did it twice, and and at the end, I managed to kill the warlord just on charge of um, my assault jump at Isetesus. Um, I will say the MVP of this was Logan. He managed to come from the deep strike on that solitaire brigand, uh, charge successfully and kill it in one blow. So that threat on the I will say it on the side was gone, and his plan to involve me or coming from the other side, um, yeah, completely busted. My comp,
I have to
yes.
say, the amount of times you've seen Logan coming in from deep strike and making the charge
Uh,
makes me very jealous.
dude, well, and to be honest, I did not in most of those. I did not even need to use the reroll for the whack that the white whack that I cast. So was both time 11 inches on the roll. That's insane, man. So yeah, now
Sounds like I just need your dice.
Logan MVP.
Can I interject?
Yes.
So I was actually because game two, as I said, I was actually able to go around, and that was actually a game that I kept going back to. Excuse me, because I actually thought it was very interesting, and it was interesting how I kept coming back, and I started seeing less and less
War
um,
Dogs.
war dogs, but also less and less
Yes.
wolfen, although
Thunderwolf.
not
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
much.
I sacrifice a lot.
Although I would like Although I would like to say, I think the best MVP wasn't Logan. I think it was Hayden's bad rolls.
Oh,
He
well,
was rolling
I,
a
I
lot
was
of
going
ones
to
that had
point
to
it
work
out
at.
that so after I did my whole charge. I kill a war dog, keep a brigand on tide. He comes out with three more war dogs, and he charged into my Thunderwolf cavalry with three war dogs. He kills, I think, one and a half. Because
The number of times I've seen him roll
yes,
one of the
because
on the damage for the
no, it
carnivores.
was even worse than that. Sorry, the carnivores. Yeah, he charged with three carnivores on the Thunderwolf. He rolls the first one, gets a bunch of ones and twos, connect one, and damage one. Okay, I'm still alive. Go with the second one. Another, he missed a lot of the hitting, connects one, save it. So I'm pretty sure he killed one and a half on that charge of three carnivores. So he was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I cannot do anything. And that is was a real um, change on the game, because of course I was expecting to lose that unit fast because I committed onto the charge, but I did not, and that allows me to overcome and score. I ended up scoring 74 points in this one, mostly because I needed to commit most of my units to function, and he still score the 55 because um, OC of the war dogs are quite high. So overall,
Mm.
was the roles, yes, was the role, but also the ability of fall back and charge, um, that allowed me to contest, and the lance strategy, that +1 to wound, was really, really, really helpful, to be honest.
But yeah, jokes aside, I was there for that not in charge from the extract from
Yeah,
Lorgan and into the lone brigand, and seeing him making an in charge and one shotting the crap out of
dude,
that thing. That was really
that
cool
was
to
was
see.
ridiculous. But yes, that was my game. 74-55 was a really, really cagey game. But again, he enclosed himself on a corner. I think if he was more spread, couldn't have been different, because I needed to separate and my units to cover the board. And in this, I was just needed to go to one place, so all into there. Yeah, was a quite interesting game. What about you, Charlie, with the Burden Trust? How was this one for you?
Okay, so I'll quickly go through the highlights of this one. So this was up against Ryan with his double Lord of Skulls.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was also a Forge Fiend, and he had Pink Horrors. He had 3 units of Pink Horrors
Yes.
as his battle line, and a couple of Warsmiths. So this was kind of, and me and Ryan, we play quite casually as well, and we're just talking through. This was quite a good test to see. Custodes, they got a bit of a change, critting on 5s in Shield Host. And one of the big changes is the Qatar, the martial Qatar now, instead of being army wide, you select the start fight. Now it's per unit when you activate, you get to choose. So sometimes you can go sustain, sometimes you can go lethals. Which actually worked out really, really well because I have a unit that wants to go into a Forge Fiend and another unit that would want to go into the Pink Horrors, for example. Um, there were, yeah, so this one was also where I started learning how to play the Calidus Assassin aggressively,
Oh,
rather
yes, I
than just
remember
using
you
him
told me about
as
this.
an action monkey. So there was a scenario kind of on the left-hand side of the board near mid where Ryan came in with his Forge Fiend, and he shot a couple of custodian guard to death, but not picking up the unit. And I had my Calidus Assassin within walking distance of the objective to go and guard it, but he popped some stuff over. So this was almost by accident. Actually, no, it was completely by accident. When I walked those guard out, Ryan went to Overwatch with the Forge Fiend, wanting to pick up the unit. Then he would control that entire left flank. And he went to do it, and then what I realized was he's only got 1 CP, and he's within 12 inches of the Calidus Assassin, which meant he couldn't Overwatch.
Oh,
Because now, of course, the Calidus Assassin always makes your strat cost 1 more CP if you're within 12
it's
of
the
him.
aura.
The aura, which is very crucial. And on the right-hand side, I had mispositioned. I was meant to pull a unit off the table to use rapid escalation with one of my guard units, and I forgot. And I deployed it instead. It was supposed to be a deep strike. So I was umming and ahhing turn 1 because I went first. Actually, no, Ryan went first. I was umming and ahhing because he put a Lord of Skulls within charge range. And I was going, do I charge this Lord of Skulls with 4 Custodian Guard?
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I was going to advance, run back into the middle, stage out for the next turn, and he would just own the entire right-hand flank. And I went, you know what? This is a fun thing. We're testing lists here. Let's go and see how much damage 4 Custodian Guard can do against a T13 24 wounds. Yeah, 5 up.
Correct.
Invan giant monster. Um, Long story short, they went in, they did 20 wounds to the Lord of Skulls, 4 guys, and he only killed 3, I believe, on the clapback. So he didn't even pick up the unit on the hitback, which was really, really interesting.
Holy crap.
So that was kind of the first couple of turns. And then on the go turn where I dropped a 6-man unit of Vinatari, the Alaris were actually mostly out of the game. I used them more for the shooting in this one, to pick up the units of horrors, because they were very, very annoying trying to kill with limited attacks, whereas the Alaris would just kill the entire unit in one go. And what I had done was I dropped in my own deployment zone, picked up the unit of horrors that he had dropped there the previous turn to do establish locus, and then I picked it up, dropped it on his side, picked up the cultists that were on his home objective, picked up another unit of pink horrors, and basically went, I'm going to take a secret mission. Guess which one it is again.
Again.
So third game, I took the same secret mission. Wasn't a very much of a secret by this time. But the turning point was when the 6-man Vinatari went into the full health Lord of Skulls.
Yes.
I did another 20 wounds off it,
Oh,
which was a little bit under average, I would have to say. I didn't get that many 5-ups. Still decent chunk of damage. I went, crap, this is where he just turns around, picks up half the unit, and then shoots him in the face next turn, and just picks up quite a few things. So Ryan goes to activate to fight. He Dark Packs, invokes the contract, so he has to take the leadership on a -1 to pass the Dark Pack. Fails the leadership. He's on 4 wins at this point. So when you invoke the contract next to the Warpsmith for 4 reroll hits, because he wanted the 4 reroll hits, you take D3 +1 damage.
Oh.
So he needed to roll a 1, 2, 3, or 4 to survive and not die to his own Dark Pact, and he rolled a 5. So this Lord of Skulls, before even activating, just killed itself. And I still had a 6-man Venatari unit just sitting there, which basically won me the game. Like I said, I scored something like 47, 48 points between primaries and secondaries in my turn 5, which completely swung the game around because I was about 20 points behind going into turn 4.
Yeah, you ended up.
The Chaos Lord, the Chaos Gods giveth, the Chaos Gods
So
taketh.
The Emperor protects.
you ended up 83-54 on that one.
Yes.
Holy shit, Aronis.
Yes, I think I was on like 35 points going into turn 4 with almost 0 primary.
That is crazy.
So, secret missions.
Secret mission, baby.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, now that makes sense.
And yeah, round 5, I played Ivan on Chaos Knights. I'll do this one first. We'll finish with your finals round. This was interesting because Smoke and Mirrors is the one where you can redeploy Battle Line and you can redeploy back into reserve, I believe. And Linchpin is where if you hold your home objective, the no man's land, or any objective outside of your deployment zone is worth 5 instead of 3.
Correct.
I went first in this one, which was not great, and I got a couple of secondaries that I couldn't do, which was disappointing. So I staged up. I went out a little bit, staging for next turn I'll come out. I gave Ivan, I think it was a 9 or a 10-inch charge. So it was a 9-inch charge with a Carnivore, 10-inch charge with his Stalker. He deployed on the line. Obviously, I have no shooting.
Yes.
And he crushed both of those charges into the 1 unit of guard that I had placed at the bottom. And this is where I did a very stupid thing, was I heroicked in with another unit of guard, thinking, well, at the time I thought, okay, I heroicked in, I made the heroic. I've got 2 units of guard there. I've got 9 bodies because Valerian was there as well. I can at least survive 1 round of shooting, 1 round of combat. The Carnivore kills maybe 2 on average. I'll pick up the Carnivore, with enough attacks, and then with my Consolidate, I can swing around and touch the objective and actually score something, right?
Yes.
So the Carnivore fights, picks up the entire unit, except for Valerian, and then the Stalker fights and picks up the entire other unit.
Shit.
So I just went and lost 8 Custodian Guard, 360 points, for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
So we did, that was a bit of a blow. So in the next round, although Valerian did put the Carnivore on something like 2 wounds after he fought, so he was a bit of a champ.
So you did a lot of
Going
damage
into
there.
Yeah, so I think going into my turn 2 and 3, there was one turn where I drew Bring It Down. And the big thing about Bring It Down is, again, timing was perfect. I drew Bring It Down on my go turn where I had all of the Venatari lined up. I had the Alaris lined up. And I had a couple of Guardians still alive that were going into a 4 wound or 3 wound War Dog, something like that. And the thing is, there's no cap on Bring It Down anymore.
Oh, yes, you told me about it.
In Leviathan, Bring It Down is capped at 8 points. So you can't score more than 8 points. Now, you can score all 40 if you can, I guess, functionally table a knight's opponent, right? So I went super hard and just went for all of the kills that I could get. And I managed to score 10 points on Bring It Down. Almost got 12. Ivan hard rolled 3 5-up saves and saved the one last War Dog. But I picked up his Desecrator with the 6-man Venatari. Overkilled it, but quite a bit actually. Picked up a 4-wound Brigand with 3 Venatari. Picked up a 4-wound, I think it was another 4-wound Brigand with a large shooting. I failed my 9-inch rerollable charge. Should have borrowed your dice, Pato.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, fell in to kill one more war dog there, which would have been really good. At that point, I had taken over his entire deployment zone, and I still had my prosecutors on my home objective, so I scored big that turn. And then at this point, I just went, well, you know what? I'm just going to go to your deployment zone.
Easy.
So we functionally traded deployment zones by the end of the game. I went for secret missions again. I mean, I was already there, right? Um, and then we ended up in a draw. So there were quite a few moments where, if one of us did something, um, it was all unexpected. It's not something we could have predicted, but if we just made slightly different decisions, we would have beaten each other by 2 or 3 points. One small secondary heal, one extra primary heal there. Yeah, would have just made all the difference in the game. I think one of the MVPs is, I mean, it didn't actually affect the game, but my Calidus assassin went in and punched a war dog to death with her fist in turn 5,
That
which was really, really good.
that
Yeah.
is crazy. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, but overall, because Custodes into Chaos Knights, from a teams format, when we did the pairings before, it was kind of a 12-8 to Chaos
Yeah.
Knights between the Melters, the Carnivores, and Tank Shock, and a whole bunch of stuff. It was just, they can out attrition you, out trade you, and I think just with the addition of the Venatari meant, because thinking back, Ivan didn't actually get a whole lot of shooting off into me.
Yeah, I had the same feeling with Hayden. There is shooting, but I guess because I was playing before Elda, which that shooting was really scary or killed stuff. But with the Thunderwolf was like, meh, okay, can take it.
Well, because Chaos Knight shooting is something that needs to be respected. With the AP5 melters,
Yes.
12-inch melter range, the Gatling gun does a ton of damage. But just with the terrain, the way the missions play now,
Yeah.
I actually found that there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities for him to dedicate
The whole
shooting
shooting.
into.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the
Yeah,
same.
which was really interesting.
Yeah, feel the same,
Yeah.
man. Feel the same. Especially if you can tag those shooting with chaff, and then yeah, you can shoot the chaff in melee, but you cannot shoot the main punch. That is quite
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's. I mean, you played a very different list, but for me, it was, you know what? Take primary. I'm not going to throw away a 200-point unit, 180-point unit early just to tow onto an objective and then get shot in the
Yeah.
face, because I don't need to anymore. I can backload all of my primary, go for secret mission, while just playing secondaries, and put you in a bad position earlier on and conserve my resources. Right? It's almost like playing Tao Kao Yon. You just don't expose yourself.
Yes, yes, that is a really, really, yeah, that is what it is that actually.
So I wasn't expecting secret missions to make such a big difference, but I think there's definitely a way of playing now
Yeah,
where you design your army for secret missions.
that's interesting.
Cool.
Last,
Your finals, going
yes.
for the win, winning your own event
Oh,
title,
yeah. That
which didn't
didn't
happen.
happen. So my last game was against Cam, the Tau Retaliation, Lynchman, Smoke Mirrors, and Crucible of Battle. Um, uh,
Hey, do you want to quickly bring up Cam's list and we can
yes,
talk to, show off
going
the
to
winner from our
going
event?
to bring Cam's list. It's a big list. Sorry, a lot of information, but he was using the Commander Farside, Shadow Sun, of course, Cold Star Battlesuit, Enforcer, and Dark Strider to try to block the back of the deployment zone. One battle line that's a Breachers unit that was on foot. Broadside, that's two-man squad. Crisis Firing Knife, the Star Scythe, and Samforge. So he has three different.
One of
Yeah,
each.
yes.
Okay.
One ghost kill for the annoying blocking, shooting, and yes. One crude carnivore for screening or second wave. Pathfinders for the infiltration. and the two Riptides with a lot of shooting, the Fusion Blaster. Um, and of course, three of the stealth suits. That is pretty much a standard. You need to bring them so you can do the marker. Um, Interesting with this is he got he won both rolled off, so he won for deploy first. So that means that he is straight away couldn't um, screen better from the center to the one of the edge. Very annoying. And the second, he won the roll off for who goes first, which also was very annoying. Um, I managed to clear the pathfinders with the shooting of the grenade launchers on the Thunderwolf. Sorry, not on the Thunderwolf, on the Wolfins. Managed to do a charge on the Ghost Kill in turn one, but since the four, because of the map and those small corridors, I couldn't actually put many of my Thunderwolf on range of the charge, so I couldn't kill.
Mm.
He was left on 4 wounds. And the other thing, my rolls, I normally roll quite decent. My luck abandoned me in this one. Um,
You used it all with Hayden. That's why.
yes, I shouldn't have changed my dice for my backup dice, but I didn't do it, and I regret. Um, but it was interesting. He should killed one Thunderwolf unit in turn one because he started. He put everything on the unit. He managed to kill everything except for the Wolf Lord, um, and then the Wolf Lord failed a charge when he needed to get into combat. So my assault intercessors couldn't commit in another unit. That didn't happen. The assault intercessors needed to commit, and that was bad. Um, at the end of the battle, if I had one more scoring unit, our game ended up 81-71. By the way, if I had one more
Okay.
score unit, I couldn't have scored at least, I will say, between 6 to 12 more points, because I only managed to do one containment. I managed to do one sabotage. So there was those action ones that the only guy that was doing the
Yes.
actions was um, my lieutenant. If I had another scoring unit alive, I because all the rest of my units needed to be commit or in the charge or in the screening or doing something. Um, and and since he can redeploy the crisis, I needed to use my infiltrators to keep holding that back line. That actually managed to save me the points because I needed my own objective, needed to get those. We get into the round three. At the end of the round three, both with 16 points on primaries. So I wanted to go for my secret mission that was try to get Logan into the um, home objective. And
Yep.
this is interesting. I don't think that Logan could survive in there because he has a lot of shooting still left. But I was wanted to try to do is draw the attention. So he needed to bring stuff back into his home, and I couldn't
Okay. Yep.
get my Thunderwolves get less punishment. Um, but we were not sure if we were going to be able to finish. And since we stated on the rules of the tournament, if if you don't ended up the battle on round five, you cannot score your secret missions. So we
Yes.
were like, oh, we are 15 minutes left or something like that, and then we realized that the time was half an hour left, not 15, because we moved the round time for the last round. We moved 15.
Yes, we gave people an extra
Yes,
15 minutes.
I
That's right.
was not. I was not even thinking about that. I was so concentrated that I did not take in consideration. So I guess if I couldn't have taken, um, could it have done something different? I don't know. Um, I will say,
Well, that's an interesting point,
yeah,
right? So you could have taken a secret mission. You could have taken the hold the three no man land secret mission,
yes,
but still deep strike Logan in the back and try and go for that play, making him because you can jank people into thinking which one have you taken
correct.
if you're in a position to take multiple. And I think that's going to be a very interesting dynamic for Pariah Nexus going forward is when people learn how to use secret missions very
Yeah,
effectively.
you will be able to lose. For me, it's a little bit sorry, it's a little bit shit because I don't have battle lines. So the one that it's pretty much two of them.
Ah, yes.
Two of them. The one that no man's land, so I need to hold those three objectives. If I'm enough alive, I can do it. But that means if I'm enough alive, that means that I'm winning the game. If not,
Of
so
course.
it is yeah, it's complicated, I will say.
Just that's fine, man. Just take 7
Yeah,
Alaris
and
and
then
then walk
walk
towards the
towards. Yeah,
objective.
I cannot do that. But
Yeah.
overall, I'm very happy with that. Cam took the win. The list, the way he played was very aggressive. Um, he did not corner himself, so he came out to shoot me early. He trust on his durability and toughness. My roles I shouldn't have picked up because I have played the tiles before. I should have picked up one big riptide per round. I couldn't. I really failed most
Mm.
of my thunder hammers when I really need them, and that cost me a lot. To be honest, cost me a lot. But
Yeah, Riptides is still so durable and so much value for 180
yes,
points now. And the 4 damage on their main gun is perfectly
and the
suited
fact
into
that they
dealing with you.
ignore the modifiers on the shooting, because I was one
Yes,
of my defenses is pop the -1 to hit, -1 to wound. I
of
still
course.
get the
Yes.
-1 to wound, but I don't get the -1 to hit, and he can reroll everything pretty much. So yeah. Other mistake of mine, I should had commit my assault intercessors when I had the chance to kill Shadow Sun on the charge. I went for another unit, and I think that also was a bad decision from my side. Should have killed Shadow Sun, eliminate that bubble of rerolls one that he was
Mm.
milking like a champion, mate. He was converting so good uh, those ones, mate. So good. But overall was really good, interesting. I learned a lot. I think now I'm way more. If I have the to play against Tau, I think I think I know what to do better, and I should be able to get that into convert that into a win. To be honest.
All right, you heard it here, folks. New Zealand Team Championships. We're going to put Patricia into all of the Tau matchups, and he's going to bring home wins.
Love it. I just shoot me in the foods. Yeah.
Awesome. We're coming up on 2 hours. I think we're just over 2 hours now. Any closing
Yeah,
thoughts?
that's
First
my
event.
list. You saw it. There's 30 seconds. That's it. That's it. It's gone. We are
All right.
back to Frankie. Frankie, yeah, you did not play the last couple of rounds. You were around looking and make sure that the people was getting the rules right. Um, another thing that I have to say, so much pressure to be in that top table at the end. I think everybody finished their game and they went to the table to wash, and it's like, oh fuck me, man! I just want to go away, let me roll my dice and do my stupid things. Uh, but yeah, it is and I was tired. I was really tired. Couldn't do the math correctly at some point. Ryan was there, and it's like he was telling me, just roll, just roll. So I was rolling. It's like, yeah, he kills two. Okay, cool. He kills two. Whatever. Roll. You need to roll a couple of two more. Okay, cool. There is. Okay, you say. Okay, cool. I don't know what I'm doing. Ryan was telling me like that was the last turn. We were rushing up because the time was running, and I couldn't follow up. To be honest, for me, it's difficult because the translation, doing math in English, translate and the rules and all that crap. It's my brain is wasted at the end. So I was like, Ryan was telling me, you need a four. Oh yeah, cool. There is. I fell. What happened? He kills you because it's damage two. Oh cool. Take the model. He was giving me the models at the end. He was like, take the models from the table. What unit he was shooting? Oh, this one. Oh, okay, cool. There. But yeah, it was intense. It was a really intense game. I had to play two really good players on the last day, Hayden and then Camp. So my brain was melted, to be honest. But overall,
Well,
very happy with the
you played
experience.
you played 2 out of the 10 New Zealand players we had at the event. So really good job.
Yes, yes, I'm very happy with that. I managed to get to up to there. Um, yeah, overall, very happy with the tournament in general. Frankie, really appreciate the time and the effort that you put, helping us to even set up on the day before, which was a massive work. Did not know. Uh, I know how it is, but it was a lot of work. Um, I think people was very happy with the table height. The rising them to 90 centimeters did actually impact positively on the how tired you get your body, instead of being leaning on top of a table and get your whole back sore. Um, yeah, I think overall it was a good tournament, good experience for us at Tactical Chile. Charlie, I think we managed to pull this one from out of the hat like a good rabbit trick, a magic trick. Like
Yeah, I'm still gonna claim we were the first Pariah Nexus tournament in the world
we were
based on time zone.
based on, but I'm pretty sure everything that I saw in Meta Watch in the guys from Spain in Tosudo, everybody was talking about the tournaments that were that day, but none of them use actually Pariah Nexus except us. We were actually the only one using Pariah Nexus. All the other tournaments were Leviathan.
Well,
I think officially, excuse me. Officially, I think we were the only ones we actually played with the Pariah Nexus.
Yep.
yeah, and all the balance updates. But yeah, looking forward to the event tomorrow and see how that shapes up with Sisters and GSC coming into play as well at the Maraliki tournament up
Oh
at
yes,
Whangarei.
the fundraiser for
Um,
the New Zealand team.
yes, going to be keeping my eye on that one. And I guess Patricio, are we looking at doing something in July? Just a little one day.
Yes, we are looking to do a one day in July at the end, 28, I think is the date. That is 1 week before New Zealand team goes away for the to Belgium to get into that WTC. So we are going to do something more, I guess, more relaxed, or more um, not yeah, casual, I will say, but not that. Yeah, WTC probably we are not going to play WTC terrains or WTC um, unless of course we are requested by the Team New Zealand there because they want to get just one go to practice. We are more than happy to help with that, but otherwise we are going to be running more probably the Pariah Nexus what's the name? Pariah Nexus tournament companion.
Tournament companion.
Yeah, some from there. Um, yeah, we're looking. It was going to be just a 1 day, 3 rounds. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how that goes because was already going to be after the NCTC and 1 month into Pariah Nexus. So what different things can be coming out of that? That will be the cool thing to see. The factions also.
Awesome. Guess what are you guys looking forward to in terms of the meta coming up? Any particular other factions that
Oh,
be keen to jump on before we close?
I don't know. Sisters?
Sisters. I know you do have sisters.
Yes, I could be sisters. Necrons maybe. Sorry, not Necrons. Tyrannids. The shooting needs could be. Or just stick with the Thunderwolf until they nerf it into the ground, and I will see what happens.
You'll have a couple more weeks. It's all good.
Oh, I think it's more than a couple of weeks. When is the next data slate, man?
Next one
September.
is points only, and it's September. Yeah.
They're going to get a point increase because they are still 200 points.
Yeah.
It's crazy cheap, but
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Frankie, you probably just demons.
Well, that's a funny thing. I was actually not abandoning demons, but I was just moving to play other stuff. I was probably gonna play Soulforge at teams. Since Warp Wars, I didn't actually have any intention of playing demons for a little bit, just because it was a bit, samey. Just I want to try something different. And then these new rules that came out completely out of left field. During the last Monitor and Field manual, we got no points at changes whatsoever. So I felt like we were not in need of any fixes, and I thought that was probably going to be the same. So this was definitely a welcome change, and definitely makes me excited about trying different things. Other than that, the crush stampede changes. While I'm not sure it's enough to make all the, that attachment actually,
No.
as good, does make me a bit nostalgic to the ninth edition Crush Stampede. I'm like,
No,
ooh,
it's.
do I want to go back to that?
I think
It's just
Crusher
so fun.
it's not top tier in its detachment. It's probably one of the lower ones. The big thing is they stealth nerfed a whole bunch of Forge World models, so you don't have access to the scarier melee monsters anymore.
It's not that they nerfed them; they just don't exist even. So
Yeah.
what they did is the Harudals, yeah, sorry, is it the
The
Harudal,
Harudals are
yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, they're completely gone. So they're just
Legend.
not a viable thing anymore.
Yeah, legend.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. No, they're not even legend. They were legend, and now they've been completely removed even from
Oh,
legends. They don't have any rules at all, if I'm not mistaken.
excellent.
I could be wrong, but no, you might be right.
No,
Maybe
there'll
they
be a
went
legend.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are
because the
legend.
Democarons are left.
Yeah,
Launch of
you're
Tier, the
right.
Demons are left, and recently the Harudals have disappeared as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna miss those because the one I had was 3D printed and it exploded while had it in storage. You know, 3D printing. So I was not gonna use it anyway. But yeah, was mostly just for fun, not for actual competitive. They also fixed the gun for the Tyrannofix, the Rupture Cannon. So it's not just like 2d6 damage; it's d6 plus 6. So it's more in line to some of the guns of for other factions and similar things. So I'm really biased for that kind of gun. I know that the SS Spray is better. Other than that, yeah, Soulforge took a bit of a hit, even though it was not the detachment that was actually problematic for CSM, but the Venom columns went up a little bit because of they were using Raiders. I don't know what Raptors did wrong. I don't know who was bad touched by Raptors, but they also went up. So my list went up like 60. My list went up to from 60 to 80 points, and I was really kind of struggling to find enough units to score. But from the Forge Fiend, Smith package I was playing with, and Brittle Crawlers. So that's back on the drawing board. So I'll probably go back to experience with demons, which is funny because my team captain was actually joking a few weeks ago, saying when we were talking about what factions we're going to play, let's be honest, Frankie, you're probably going to be on demon again. That's what it's suiting. And I was like,
Prophetic.
nah. It was. I don't know if it was a self fulfilling prophecy, but I had no intention of bringing demons at teams. And then the new rules came up, and I was like, "Now, guys, listen. I know I said I wasn't, but
Look at this.
hear me out
Yeah.
here."
Now I'm with you.
So grind.
Well,
No,
Awesome.
again, Frankie, thank you for coming along and be part of this episode. Help us with the TOing and the organization of the last tournament, the Great Chili Cook-off, which I think was great. Uh, Came with the name. Um, we needed the chili there, but it's all good. We put some spicy. The lists were spicy. The people was happy. Spellbound provide us all the space that we need to play. Yeah, as always, Tom, incredible. Yeah, happy. That's the only thing that I'm going to say. Thank you, Frankie. Really, really appreciate your enthusiasm and your support on this endeavor from the Chili Cook-off.
no. Thank you for having me. I'm glad you. I'm really happy that you guys gave me that opportunity, and definitely got a taste of TOing, and looking forward, if it ever needs to be, to do it again.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
Well, you're our first go-to when we both want to play.
Yeah,
Yeah, sign me up.
sounds good.
Awesome.
I will see you around,
Thank
Frankie.
you.
See you probably in the at the club.
Okay.
Thanks, Frankie.
There we are, Frankie. Again, Charlie. Closing up this episode. We it feels again more natural. I think the last one between the retake, we needed to uh, redo it and all of that, and some technical difficulties. We was interesting, but
I hope you recorded properly this
oh,
time.
definitely. Otherwise, I'm just going to chop my last ball and that's it. Um,
Because
yeah, yeah, was
uh,
it's a hustle. It's a hustle. But yeah, I think we overall the tournament was good. We accomplished what we wanted to do. Um,
absolutely.
Give us that experience for the future. We were thinking at the beginning of this trying to do it 32 people. Luckily, we were talking about this when we were setting up the tables. Lucky us that we did not hit that number. Otherwise, we were going to be screwed ass.
Yeah, for 32, I definitely think, especially in the venue that we have access to at the moment, you probably want two people helping
Yeah,
run the event.
100%.
Just the pure logistics, and it is a tight space, and we do recognize that.
Yeah,
So we'll probably focus more on some of the one-dayers, do the 16 to 20, yeah, get some more local
yes,
events,
and
RTTs going.
we were
But
yes.
we will come back with a 2-day at some point, I'm
Yes,
sure.
100%. We were look for we not getting away from the support from Tom, but for trying to get that ambition that we have to bring bigger bigger GTs. We will need to get to a bigger venue so we can fit the numbers comfortable and grow organically in that way. So yeah, that is important. But we will get to that point. But the logistic is the important part. I think we are getting up to the point that it is more easy for us to get the tournament. We have our terrain, we have our maps, We have our tables. We are getting there. Um, and these conversations prior the tournament and after the tournaments are quite good. I think the probably next episode we will try to start shooting the interview with the team New Zealand members, but also most probably I think we will be talking about the list probably and what happened on that one day in Whangarei.
Yes, we should do a bit of a review and talk about some of the lists and see if we can interview someone from the podium.
I think yes. Well, we could. I was thinking bring Ryan. He was going. Is we will. He will go over there. He.
He's not going to podium.
I know. We send it out. We send it to the dead.
I know what he's running. He's going to be the opposite of podium.
Yeah, but that's our fault. So
Called it first here, folks.
yes,
I reckon he's going to be 15th.
he was going to rock bottom unless somehow he pulled this up from his sleeve. That could be. But yeah, we will be reviewing that. So yeah, again, thank you everybody that stay up to this point. It's was a long episode, but we thought that we needed to talk a little bit of the experience that we had as a player with Pariah Nexus, how the impressions of the two different lists or three with Frankie and the opposition. Charlie, we have quite uneven runs, but it was not that you came fifth at the end of the day. If you managed to get the win at the last one, I think you were going to be fourth, something like that.
Third.
Third?
I would have podiumed.
Oh yes, because Chonti scored it very low on the second one.
I had more better points. Yeah.
So that was going to be podium for you. I just went straight to all those wins, and I think I did not respect enough the towel. So yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, so I think that's it for this episode, man.
Excellent. No, I'm very excited to see how the game changes and people adapt to all of the new things and what results we start seeing from this weekend.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, we will see you all, guys, in the next one. We will bring some more interesting information about Pariah Nexus, what's going on here in New Zealand. That is the aim of this podcast. It's talk about the competitive scene and what's going on, how that is affecting us as players, and yeah, what trickiness are coming around.
Awesome. Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
thank you. See you around, Charlie. Have a good one.
Catch you later.
See you, bro.